In this video, we will only deal with the definitions and vocabulary. If you are interested in only mathematical part, start with the next video. We will start this video with the word per. Per is usually used as a preposition or as a prefix. A preposition is a word such as after, in, to, on, and with. Prepositions are usually used in front of nouns or pronouns, and they show the relationship between the noun or pronoun and other words in a sentence. A prefix is an affix, which is placed before the stem of a word. The word prefix is itself made up of the stem fix, meaning attach, in this case, and the prefix pre dash, meaning before, both of which are derived from Latin roots. Prefixes fixed in front, from the verb prefigere, from pre before plus figere to fix. We usually write per for preposition, and per dash for prefix. As preposition, per is used when expressing rates, prices, or measurements, to mean for each. For examples, the meal will cost $20 per person. The car was traveling at 70 miles per hour. There are more cafes per square mile here than anywhere else in the country. Some examples of prefix per dash: first through, pervade; second throughout, perennial; third away, beyond, perfidy; fourth completely, thoroughly, perplex; fifth, intensify or perfervid; sixth indicating that a chemical compound contains a high proportion of a specified element, peroxide, perchloride; seventh indicating that a chemical element is in a higher than usual state of oxidation, permanganate, perchlorate. Pervade. To pervade means to be present throughout, to exist in every part of. If you have too many cats, the horrible smell of cat pee will pervade your house. Pervade comes from Latin pervadere. From prefix per dash, for through, plus vadere, for to go. Perennial. Perennial typically describes things that are permanent, constant, lasting an indefinitely long time, or repeated. Arguing with your roommate about who cleaned the bathroom last time might be a perennial argument. There is also a perennial plant, which lasts more than 2 years and usually reappears each spring, because it produces flowers and seeds from the same root structure. Perennial comes from the Latin perennis, from the prefix per dash, through, plus annus, for year. Also, any, ennial, ennium are suffix for year, or years. Annus is also the source of our English word annual. An annual plant lives only 1 year or season. Perfidy. If you shared your most embarrassing secrets with a friend, who then told them to everyone he knows, his betrayal could be described as perfidy. The noun perfidy means deceitfulness or treachery, so it's not just being mean, but deliberately betraying a trust. The Latin root of perfidy is made up of per, for through, and fidem, for faith. So in order for perfidy to happen, there has to have first been a sense of faith in place, which was then broken or betrayed. Perplexed. We use the adjective perplexed to describe someone who is utterly baffled or confused. If you've ever studied for the wrong test, and been surprised and confused by the exam in front of you, you have been perplexed. Perfervid means having or expressing strong emotions. As adjective used as extremely, excessively, or feverishly passionate and zealous. The adjectives fervent, fervid, and perfervid all derive from the Latin verb fervere, meaning to boil, and suggest a bubbling up of intense feeling. If you see these meanings carefully, you will notice that indefinitely long, throughout, deliberately, utterly, extremely, excessively, or feverishly, even as high proportion, higher than usual, is telling us something, and that is, addition of per, as prefix simply increasing the quality, or quantity. It may not be the case everywhere, but assuming this will help us in understanding the meaning of permutation. Mutation. A mutation is a genetic change that causes new and different characteristics, like the mutation on the dog's DNA, that makes its tail shorter than its ancestors' tails. Mutation comes from the Latin word, mutationum, meaning a changing. We often think of mutations as changes in an animal's genetic structure, but there are other kinds of mutations. For example, if an architect designs an award-winning building, her later designs that are similar might be called mutations of that one. Mutation, alteration, change, or modification can be done by any or all of the followings: deletion, inversion, transposition, reversion, etc. Now comes the permutation. Permutation is made of the prefix per for thoroughly and mutation, which means change. A permutation is a thorough, absolutely, completely, totally, entirely change of something, like a substitution. Asking a waiter to give you sweet potato fries instead of regular fries is a permutation. Switching hats with a friend is a permutation. If you switch hats with 5 of your friends, you'll have many fashion permutations to choose from. Permutations are also like replacements or switches. Combination. Combination is the act of combining, which comes from the Latin for joining together 2 by 2. Although it's not necessary that you combine things in pairs, it can also mean the mixture you get when 2 or more things are combined. For examples, strawberries and cream, a perfect combination. A combination of tiredness and boredom caused me to fall asleep. This drug can be safely used in combination with other medicines. Her experience and energy are a winning combination in business. It can also be used for an arrangement in a particular order. From the letters X, Y, Z, we can get 3 combinations of 2 letters, X, Y, X, Z, and Y, Z. It can also be used as a set of letters or numbers, in a particular order, that can be used to open some types of locks, called a combination lock. This video is made to confuse you in order to avoid mistakes in future. You just have to remember what's confusing. Let's try to understand the mathematical difference between permutation and combination. Permutation. Mathematically, we define permutation as different ways of arranging some or all the members of a set in a specific order. It implies all the possible arrangement or rearrangement of the given set into distinguishable order. For example, all possible permutation created with letters X, Y, Z by taking all 3 at a time are X, Y, Z, X, Z, Y, Y, X, Z, Y, Z, X, Z, X, Y, Z, Y, X. By taking 2 at a time are X, Y, X, Z, Y, X, Y, Z, Z, X, Z, Y. Combination. The combination is defined as the different ways of selecting a group by taking some or all the members of a set without the following order. For example, all possible combinations chosen with letter X, Y, Z. When 3 out of 3 letters are to be selected, then the only combination is X, Y, Z. When 2 out of 3 letters are to be selected, then the possible combinations are X, Y, Y, Z, X, Z. Let's understand this example more carefully. In first part, we are rearranging X, Y, Z, X, Z, Y, Y, Z, X, Y, X, Z, Z, X, Y, Z, Y, X. In second case, we are rearranging X, Y, Y, X, Y, Z, Z, Y, Z, X, X, Z. Here in both the cases, position of each letter matters. Unlike a permutation, in combination we have only one way of choosing or grouping of all the letters. Like here in first case we have X, Y, Z is same as X, Z, Y or Z, X, Y, etc. Also, in second case, we can choose from any of the following way of grouping, both indicates the same thing. YX, ZY, ZX, and XY, YZ, XZ. Now, if you recall this page about combination, you will notice that I gave an example of combination locker. But from our study and working of combination locker, you should get a confusion. Suppose the password for the locker is 1234. And if it's a combination locker, then it will open for every 4-digit number, having digit 1, 2, 3, 4. So isn't we should call it permutation locker instead? Question is why? Why we are calling it as combination locker? I actually don't know the exact answer, but maybe by mistake, or they are assuming all the combination of all the 4-digit numbers as in this case, not grouping of digits in 4. Or maybe colloquially. Now what's colloquially? This we will know in next video. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe.